Netflix's The Old Guard could have been so much more. Hey guys, this is Hans Lim for Banner Media. Netflix's Old Guard is based on the comic Old Guard Opening Fire, a 5-part series by Greg Rucka. The story follows a group of immortal mercenaries with healing abilities on a mission for revenge. Now, the one thing going for this movie is that it doesn't pull the curtains when something violent or something very, very disgustingly nasty happens on screen. You know, when someone gets shot or like, the bone from their limbs just poked out, they don't hold back on showing you those visual details. And it is uneasy to see when these actors try to pull their limbs or their dislocated parts back into their original position. I mean, granted, this film is riding on the formula of the action star that's brutal and just merciless and just R13 everywhere, which was started off by The Raid Redemption, then translated to Western in John Wick form. But even if it follows this formula, it doesn't follow it all the way through. Because what you had with Raid Redemption, what you had with John Wick was well crafted action scenes that was interesting to watch. And in here, they're not on the same level. You're not gonna be as entertained. But I can tell you that I'm very interested in seeing these kinds of projects from Charlize Theron. Because when she did it in Atomic Blonde, she was really good at it. She was really physical. She throwed a lot of punches. She kicked really hard. And in here, it seems kind of less. I mean, comparing her physicality in Atomic Blonde to the Old Guard, the level is just way low in the Old Guard. But I'm really interested in seeing more of her in these kinds of roles because she has really proven herself to be quite the action star. I mean, she shaded Steven Seagal for being overweight and not quite the action star that he is. That's kind of daring for her, which, she's got balls in saying that. I just wish the movie she was in that's showcasing the physicality of hers would be better, would serve her well. Now the film has a lot of potential. And potential, I mean untapped potential. Because it has these interesting concepts introduced to us, like their immortality. Yeah, they explore that and, the issues with immortality and how society sees them. But they don't really do a lot with these heavy concepts that they introduce. I mean, in one of the scenes, we get a roundtable discussion with all of the members of the team, and then they discuss their past lives about, like Nick and Joey meeting in the Crusades and that they fought each other, and then they eventually found out that they were immortal and then they fell in love with each other. That would have been interesting to see on screen, how they became a couple as they fought. But we just get glimpses, small glimpses of these. And we also get this backstory with Andy, Charlize Theron's character, and Quinn, and how they fought in the ancient wars. And I thought, we could have had a Braveheart sequence shown in flashback form if they had just explored some of these wars that they have gone into. But again, we only get to see a glimpse of this in a roundtable conversation. We get an interesting setup though for Quinn. There was this tragic backstory about her and Andy and how they got captured and was treated as witches. So, society kind of pushed Quinn away. And that was really interesting to see. That was a really good setup. And I'll get back to that setup in just a moment. There was also this scene between Andy and the cashier from a convenience market. So Andy was trying to heal up, and then she needed help from the cashier from the convenience market. Now, in this scene, they were shooting with tight shots, and then they were talking slowly, and they were very near each other in the storm room. It kind of sent a very romantic feeling to the audience. It had some misplaced tension building up in the scene. if they wanted to set this up as some sort of romantic relationship between these two characters, they could have had visual cues or some better dialogue to have these characters play around with, but no, we just get this unnecessary scene that could have just benefited the movie if it was taken out completely. And the main villain here, named Merrick, was as one note as an MCU villain. We don't get a backstory as to why he's so passionate about money making, and I just didn't care whether he lived or died because he was just so cookie cutter. In fact, a lot of the accessory characters here are very cookie cutter. Besides Nick and Joey, of course, because they have this one scene in an armored car, and then, because they're gay lovers, they throw some funny lines, and then the SWAT team kind of had to separate them. It was kind of funny to see that. But the others, I wasn't interested in Nile. I wasn't interested in Booker. I wasn't even interested in Chiwetel's role, Copley. Those roles could have been filled in by anyone else in the business. They didn't do anything spectacular with that role, and it was kind of a missed opportunity. Let's go back to Quinn, Andy's partner from the old days. In the mid credits, they set her up to be like the next villain of the story. Like there's gonna be a part two of this movie. And sure, let there be a part two, but they better not repeat the mistakes they did here in the part two. That mid credit scene was so blatant, so obvious. It's just so cheesy. Like, oh, I'm the next villain. They could have just done that, and it kind of would have been more funny to see that, like oh, but like, yeah, it's just so cheesy. Overall, the old guard is an okay watch. You watch it for Charlize Theron. You watch it for her career, and you watch it for her physicality, because she really brings it on in this movie. The rest are forgettable. I told you the positives, but the negatives are just so dragging. It could have been made better. Anyway, guys, The Old Guard gets a 6 out of 10 here in the Banner Media rating system. And that's gonna do it for me today. This has been Hans Lim for Banner Media.